So as we look at airplane demand on a global basis the next 20 years, we see a total demand for over 35,000 airplanes valued at 4.8 trillion US dollars. So the biggest market in terms of units on a global basis will be single-aisle airplanes like the 737. On a value basis, big market for wide bodies, whether it be 787s, 777s, or 747-8s. Now, as we look to Latin America, this is an important part of the world, important part of the market, about 8% of total demand. In fact, here in Latin America, we see a demand for 2,900 airplanes valued at 300 billion US dollars, a big, big market. It's a market over the next 20 years that will almost triple in terms of size. And it's a market, though, that we expect to see really dynamic growth for traffic within the region. Within South America, from South America into the Caribbean, from the Caribbean into Central America, etc. And as a result of this demand, especially on some of these shorter routes, predominantly we see a big demand for single-aisle airplanes. So the single-aisle market, 737s, A320s, will be both the biggest market in terms of units as well as in terms of value. So a very exciting, dynamic marketplace, one of the fastest growing markets, both for passengers and cargo as we look to the future. Last year we had a very good year for the 737 MAX here in Latin America. We sold 120. And as you look at any airline that flies today's 737 next generation, I think they're an ideal candidate for the 737 MAX. And also as we look at Latin America, we've seen a number of airlines start up over the past decade and will continue to start up over time. So that will be another great opportunity for the MAX. Today, when it comes to single-aisle airplanes in Latin America, we've come back a long ways. 10 years ago, our market share was relatively small. Today, we share that market about 50-50. And as we look at the MAX and its capabilities, I think they're perfectly suited for this airplane, and we look to grow our market share over time. Colombia is the third largest country in Latin America, third largest by population, third largest by GDP. So this is a critical market to Latin America. We see it as a great, ideally positioned to carry traffic within the region, to access the Caribbean, to access North America, to access Europe. So Avianca and this whole market are very well positioned. And as we look to the future, we see the airlines of Colombia looking for ways to grow outside of the country. So it's very hard for me to come to Latin America and think about it as a single country. It's really about a combination of countries, and the real growth will be between those countries. So I think that's where our airline customers are focused, and that's where we're focused as well. Cargo is an important part of the revenue story for the airlines in Latin America. I think as we look to the future, we expect a delivery of about 70 brand new production freighters to deliver in this market. When we're talking production freighters, we're talking airplanes like 777 freighters, 767 freighters into the market. We think that that's really where the heart of the demand here is in Latin America. As we look at the cargo market, though, it's been challenged the last couple of years. We haven't seen much growth in this market. We are starting to see stabilization. We've seen some minor growth over the last few months, so maybe we're at the bottom. And as we look at Latin America, as the economy here continues to grow, as we see recovery in the United States and Europe, we do expect cargo to start growing again as those economies grow. And the unique thing about Latin America is when you go to Asia, and I fly a freighter to Asia, it's full one way and it's empty the other. One of the great advantages we have in Latin America is that traffic flows are bi-directional. So while raw materials, goods, flowers, fruits, fish might go up north, in return those airplanes are full of electronics and auto parts and those types of things, which means that it's a very good market for our customers here. And we expect that market to continue to get better over time.